What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the podcast. Every single day, have you been dragging that app store down trying to see, I'm refreshing, I didn't see a new episode. Well, we got a new episode right now. And why haven't we had an episode in a little bit? For a multitude of reasons. A bunch of boring events that nobody looks forward to, that I had to partake in. But, maybe I'll try to put a positive spin on the events because people come here looking for positivity. When you look up this podcast and you check the genres in the App Store, I got to be right up there with Joel Osteen and Tim Robbins. Wait, not what's the Robbins guy? No, it's not Tim Robbins. Something. God, the guy from Tony Robbins, right?
You're the TV guru guy.
Yes, Tony Robbins, pleased to meet you.
Yeah, Tony Robbins and Joel Osteen. I'm right up there with them in the App Store, but I've had to do a couple of things over these last couple of weeks. I don't know which one I should start with because I can't just do something and that's it. Oh, yeah, we had to do this. I could simply take out the garbage and tell you 15 things that I hate about it. Like, just me even mentioning that. I always hated the fact that when your airplane lands, you have to clap for the pilots, but then when your garbage man comes along, nobody's clapping for them. And which job do you think takes more effort to actually show up to? Those garbage men deserve applause. On top of the tip you probably give them around Christmas, unless you're a cheap bastard. But anyway, in these last couple of weeks, we had to do moving, we had to do graduations, we had to do dinners, we had to do all sorts of things that aren't as desirable as other things. But then again, on the last episode of this podcast, I complained about vacations being too hot. So I don't know how many things I'm actually going to say, oh yeah, that's a great activity. Anything. You name something. Rock climbing. You think that sounds appealing to me? Going to the woods. Don't even get me started on the infestation. Like I'm disgusted at fruit flies in an apartment. Can you imagine me out there in the wild? It's just not going to happen. But I had to go to my brother's graduation and then the 15 dinners associated with that, then the graduation itself. And with moving, that's one of the all-time awful favors somebody can ask to partake in. Now, it's my brother, so I don't really consider it a favor. It's just one of those things you have to do. But, I've actually seen I've seen videos of people complaining about having to take somebody to the airport. I saw videos, like actual clips, like...
Picking someone up from the airport is the ultimate... Like, that's basically only family, and I don't even know...
Family or somebody you don't see like if you're excited to see the
If that is a huge favor, then what the hell is asking somebody to move that's going to require like all your physical exertion for the day, so much to the point where you're going to be wiped out at the end of the day and probably sore the next day. And this is a move that actually spanned more than one day. But then again, now we're complaining about picking up someone from the airport. This is what's happening with each generation. Every remedial favor is considered that much more of a thing. Most of the people in that video who were talking about taking somebody to the airport, like, oh, you don't pick up a friend from the airport. No, they just fend for themselves. I'm telling you, people, for the most part, are just veering more towards scumbags. How do I know this? Because I used to be a scumbag. Now I'm actually considered a decent guy, and I haven't changed. It's the walls around me that have changed. And that's actually what's going on out there. Now, that actually takes me to the graduation. These people who have moved the walls so much to the point where I'm actually a decent guy. I'm sitting there, and graduations, they're one of the all-time most boring events out there. It's like an NBA lineup that never ends and nobody's a starter. No one gives a shit who the backups of the Golden State Warriors are. Can you even imagine a full Duke graduating class? And you have to sit there and listen to all these people, and then what do? Each name gets the 3 claps from the family member that's in the crowd. Back in my day, one family got booed. Somebody always got booed. Not this time around, though. So I'm listening there. I have one AirPod in and I'm just listening to other things because I can't bear to hear whatever they're saying during this graduation. Lady's up there, the mayor or something, and she said this exact quote. She goes, she's looking at all the kids. She goes, I challenge the 2023 class to change the world. I challenge half the people who are graduating to answer a text within 2 days. Do you know who this generation is? See, these older governors, they think they're talking to the class of 1993, not the class of 2023. They all got the Instagram model talk plans, which I've talked about before. They go and get a cell phone, and they require 10 minutes monthly because that's how much they factor in ignoring other people's phone call. You want these people to change the world, they won't respond to a text message within 48 hours. Half the people walking down that aisle will probably be on OnlyFans within the next 2 years to help pay off those bills that your very college thrust upon them. And now they're walking outside with their scam degrees that I have. Oh, I have a full scam degree. My courses in college were rolling the ball down the hill 101. Now, as far as these young people are concerned, they have the highest rate of depression the world has ever seen, I believe, if you look into these studies. Who's conducting these studies? Who's conducting these studies, by the way? So the studies suggest that the highest percentage of people are unhappy right now compared to at any point in the history. Well, who was conducting that study in 1895? And also, I've never been asked any of these questions. I've talked about this all the time. How can I believe any poll when me or anybody I've ever known in my life has ever been polled about anything? So who are these people delivering these secret answers? Anyway, if you want to know about depression, just go scroll on TikTok for 25 minutes. And why don't you go challenge those people to save the world? Ask those people that you see on TikTok, scroll a little bit, see what they're doing out there, and then ask those people to change the world. You know what they'll do? They're like, oh, let me try and download an app for that. Everyone's depressed. They're single. They hate the world. I saw a girl on TikTok recently. She goes on repeated dates and then just catalogs them. She catalogs the day, like, oh, I'm going out with Frank from so-and-so tonight. And I guess it's just a series of follies of what goes wrong on the dates. Can you imagine adding this if you're a guy going on a date, adding that layer to the extra layer of things that you're already worried about? Well, is she going to like the place that I'm taking her? Do I look all right? Is she going to like the way I dress? Should I ask her out again? Should I? All these things. Now, you know what you got to add to the list? Am I going to be on a secret TikTok dating series? And you want to know, I bet if you had the option to actually give this girl, oh, a great date, guy's going to treat you right, and you can go on it, she would actually decline it, because then the TikTok Follies series, it doesn't live on. She'd rather the Follies series on TikTok live on than actually find a nice date that goes well and possibly turns into something else. Because then there it all goes. They're more important to have the next folly. And then in the same vein, I learned about this page. It's called Are We Dating the Same Guy? It's on Facebook, and it's a group that I guess you can join where girls simply post images of a guy that they're with. So now you're with someone, and I guess maybe you're insecure, so you just post a picture of this guy out there. Everyone looks at it, and then someone else goes, hey, no, I'm dating that guy. And people find out in unison if they're dating the same guy. And now this is kind of an extension of something that I've been telling you guys for multiple weeks already. If you're in the early stages of talking to somebody, or you're exchanging text messages, or you've been on a date, your name is at the top of a group text, like Josh. And there's a whole panel of people discussing all the things. He brought me for coffee today. Which part of coffee? What coffee did he get? Did he pay? Did he hold in his left hand? Did he let you go first? You're being talked about, and this is an extension of that. You think guys are doing of any of this? You think there's a secret Facebook page like, is my girl a whore? And then other guys, oh yeah. This page, Are We Dating the Same Guy? It's not too dissimilar from my parody, but actual idea. The Ghostbuster. I thought there should have been a Ghostbuster app that actually flags people who ghost other people so you know who you're getting involved with. You know what I'm saying? You type the number into the app and it just comes up, like, running it through a verification system, like, when you have to like SMS verify for something, and then you put in the code, whatever. You put in the number and it comes up. It just shows you a picture of a ghost or no. But then obviously it would be abused by people. Someone gets dumped, so then they just add them in the Ghostbuster app. And honestly, that's what I would do if I was a girl and I really liked one of the guys. I would go on that page and just be like, oh yeah, I was with him last Wednesday. I was with Dan last Wednesday. That's what I would sabotage other relationships and try to get those good guys that were in there. That's what I would do if I was one of the girls. And how's that for people who don't believe in conspiracy theories? Because we'll get to some of those in just a second. Because depression, it doesn't just come for the kids. It doesn't just come for Gen Z. It comes for Miss Lippy, too. It comes for the older crowds. And it came for a certain guy you might be looking at over these last 2 weeks. I needed to take my mind off of hockey because hockey has brought me into depression during these NHL playoffs. You could say A, because the Islanders, who are my favorite team in sports, got eliminated, but even more so, many times I've mentioned to you guys that I do these videos for the Odd Shopper channel, and all year had my picks. Last year, everything went great, so it was gassed up heading into the playoffs. The team that I gave everyone, I said, this is going to be your moneymaker, and they got shockingly upset in the first round, which means I lost money, the people who were following me lost money, and it was devastation. And it was one of those time periods, you ever got this, where something doesn't go your way, a team that you really love loses, and you bury your head in the sand, and you don't want to see any reminder of hockey anywhere. That's what I was. I wanted to bury my head in a rabbit hole where I knew I wouldn't see anything that revolved around hockey. Now, how do you do that? You get yourself involved with some conspiracy theories. And minor conspiracy theories. Nothing crazy here. Nothing that's going to have the NSA watching this podcast. But for anyone who doesn't believe in conspiracy theories, I just want to remind you, you have to believe in them because I know they're true. Why? Because I've spearheaded dozens of them. I have orchestrated multiple conspiracy theories. They have to be true because I did them. You want to know what I did? I went on a Decoy apartment search. Yes, I went to look at an apartment that I had no interest in. Why? Because I knew the girl who was showing it off was absolutely beautiful. So I went to a fake apartment search so that I could talk to this girl, which I did, invited her to a party, which she came to, and then went on a couple dates with her. Now, do you imagine somebody else said, you know what? I bet you that guy went on a fake apartment search, all to have the chance to ask this girl out and ask her to a party. And he bamboozled her that way, then brought her to the party where she had a good time. And he did all that just to get a date. You would be considered one of those people who think that there's lizard people living in a secret civilization in Antarctica. That's who you would be if you walked up to a stranger and said that. Meanwhile, it's 100% true. And that's me. That's just some guy talking to you on a podcast. Imagine somebody who's a real freak. I went to a top 75 university and have a clean criminal record. Now, reverse those two. I don't have a clean record, and I went to a bottom 75 university. I don't even know what that would be. But you can imagine how much deeper it would go. I did that. I did. Unless I can get in trouble for it, and then that's just for comedy on the podcast. But if I can't get in trouble, then yes, I did it. So relax with thinking that conspiracy theories can't happen. In fact, this show does have a scam of the week.
It's a scam.
That's a scam.
What a scam that was.
So this was all a scam, huh?
And I'm just going to touch upon this quickly because it's veering off topic a little. But this week's scam of the week is girls claiming a love for nerds. And this stems from Kim Kardashian sitting courtside at like a Lakers game or something, wearing a shirt saying, I love nerds. How many other nerds were sitting courtside of that Lakers game, by the way? It's one of the all-time scams to make hot chicks seem regular, claiming they are a nerd. Oh, I'm secretly such a nerd. Oh, I'm such a nerd. Oh, yeah? Tell me about the levels of Dungeons and Dragons. Tell me about which card takes out which thing. Tell me about Middle-earth and Lord of the Rings and the fake elf language that J.R.R. Tolkien writ up. Tell me about that. And similarly, it's right in that vein of dad bods. There's not a single girl who opened up a magazine and hoped to see a dad bod. It's all a big scam. They want to claim a love for nerds while never actually loving nerds and claim it's a damn disgrace to the actual nerds who are out there. planning chess moves. I think I saw somebody say something like that on Twitter. Like, oh, you love geeks? Well, you should love when I move an E3. I don't know, something like that. But claiming a love for nerds when you're an extremely hot, popular influencer, whatever. No, that's not true. That's a scam. So now, going back to the conspiracy theories and rabbit holes that I wanted to bury my head in so I didn't have to be reminded of the NHL playoffs. You want to know where I went? You want to know where I went? I'm going to say it. UFOs. Now, I want to let you know, my whole life, you can ask anyone who's ever known me, I never given half of a shit about anything UFO related. My theory was always, hey, did your grandpa ever see a UFO? Did your dad ever see a UFO? Well, then just play the numbers. You ain't going to see one. You're going to die, so don't waste all your time on it. That was my UFO take. I mean, I swear to you, like this year, if I could get 6 more playoff wins from the New York Islanders and I had to check a box and it meant that nobody in the whole world ever got to know anything about UFOs and the truth would have been released had the Islanders not won those games, no, I'd still check the box, greedily take the Islanders wins and have the whole world not know about it. That's how much I truly care about all that shit. But with that being said, there was a video out there. I mean, this is absurd. The headline is absurd. It said an influencer, of course, an influencer filmed a UFO out her private plane window. So I'm sure you've seen influencers when they're on that runway taking the private plane pic because some poor schmuck probably thinks, oh, well, I know I took her on my private plane. Now I'm going to hook up with her. No, she got the pic. And now apparently she gets UFO pics as well. It's not enough that they get the private plane pic. They get the UFO pic too. So there's a video. No one said it's fake. And this girl is just filming out the window, probably trying to get another upload. And I'm going to say the term, a Carvel flying saucer comes right through her pet. She films it right out the window. And they say it's the quote-unquote clearest picture of a UFO that's ever been taken, or the clearest and cleanest video. And you know how that goes. And I'm actually happy I went down this rabbit hole because it did actually pull me away from hockey because there was, a documentary I ended up watching, which is, I guess, popular, called Moment of Contact. And I went down the full alien rabbit hole. And with all that said, I maintain my original status of, your dad didn't see anything, you didn't see anything, you're probably not going to see anything. You may as well waste your time, unless you need to get your mind off of losing in the NHL playoffs. Then I want you to fully embrace that UFO world. But there's got to be some real wackos in there, so just be careful. So other than the graduation, then I had to help my brother move because he's graduating, going to study, physical therapy in a different school. And, I've given you my clothes rule before when you're moving. If you brought something to a place and then lived there for a certain amount of time and you never wore that article of clothing, that's life telling you it's not making the cut to the next place. It got no playing time, never saw the field. You can successfully cut that member of your roster. So I was doing that, going through some old clothes, helping because I'm moving to a different place, because he's moving to a different place. So I was making cuts in my wardrobe. And I was thinking, I have some stuff that maybe, I'd hardly worn. Maybe some people on eBay would want this. Some of this stuff was like designer stuff that I've had for multiple years. And then I was thinking, like, if you sell something on eBay and you're a regular guy, like I'm not a store, I have nothing like that, you should have to upload a picture holding the item. Because you hear a lot of people, I know I have a friend who purchases a lot of vintage stuff. If you're buying cards, like you're buying sports cards online, you actually have to send them away to a company and then they grade the cards so that other people, it's basically a third party that goes, okay. And I think they do the same thing with sneakers. You try to sell Jordans, you got to send it to a company first, they verify it, and then it gets sent to the other person. But we need something with clothing as well. I was going to sell clothes, but then didn't sell clothes because I didn't want to put another person in the position where they had to wonder who the hell the owner was. Now, in their case, I think they would have been fine with me once they saw me, they're like, all right, I'll buy that shirt. I feel like that guy took enough care of it. He does not look absolutely disgusting. I think you should have to wear a picture. You should not have to wear the shirt, but you should have to include a picture of yourself out and about, or just any picture in your actual upload. So you got 4 pictures of the shirt and then just me standing there, because I want to see who's selling this shirt. Oh, but then again, then you can just go on what's that, Fiverr, and hire some person to, I've told you about that, where you can hire people around the world who don't have any money to do asinine things. Like when I had that guy in like Sri Lanka dig up a message and read it to my friend for $5. I'm not saying it's great that I did that, but I did it. Yes, I paid somebody on Viber $5 to dig up a message from the dirt and then read it in like a scroll fashion to one of my friends. I spent time looking up absurd gigs on Fiverr. Why do I keep saying, did I say Vibrant? But it's Fiverr. I looked through and you got to see what's on there, by the way. I think I've mentioned this before. You can hire somebody to cast a spell on someone. I'd love to know how that works. How do you get verification? How do you get verification? And what do you have to provide? Is a simple picture going to suffice? Do you have to give a name, address? How much information do you have to provide to cast an official spell on someone? I don't know. Maybe they've removed it since then, but you can go there and hire people for absurdly cheap prices to do absurd activities. And I'm not kidding. You can hire somebody who legitimately will believe that they cast a spell on someone for you. I have a video of somebody digging up a message out of the ground in Sri Lanka saying to take the Giants money line.
Giants money line?
Yeah, so after I was going through the close, we facilitated the move, and there's a type of hunger that you have after moving all day that like rivals being hungover. At the end of the night, I just wanted massive cherry Coke Zeros and greasy pizza. I don't know why. Maybe that's why a lot of those construction workers, they have that look. They have that look that somebody put like a pump in them and just because I think at the end of a long day, you want some grease, you want some Coke, then you got that sodium in you, and you're greased up and you're thick. Talking about these people, this is half my friends, by the way. Half my friends. Half my friends, you're talking about double XL or larger. Have I ever told you guys about the calf conundrum? The calf conundrum is when you're, let's just say, double XL or larger in size, and you work on your feet, so you have the most jacked calves the world has ever seen. Like a workout freak, a fitness influencer would be insanely jealous of your calves. The only catch-22 is you're pretty fat everywhere else, because every step you take is a full lunge or squat at the weight room, and that's what it is. I have friends, they weigh, they're ranging from 240 to 300. Oh my God, it sounds like linemen on the Jets. But they have jacked, and I mean jacked calves. It's the calf conundrum. Now, you can't be a slob and then be working on like a computer all day. All these people happen to work in restaurants, or they're in places where they have to remain on their feet. And I think it's like those construction workers. You know, you do all that all day and then you eat at night, but the calves are massive. I guess the real question now, if they can just shed all the other weight, I think they'll be like what the influencers hope to be, jacked with jacked calves. I guess that's the only true way to have calves, ladies and gentlemen. If you're listening to this and you're a workout freak and you want big calves and you can't do it the way that you're trying to do, the same way you're working out all your other muscles, turn into an absolute slob for a year. And then you're going to have to lose all that weight. And you're going to see those calves magically there because you're working out legs every day. That's what you should say, by the way, if you're huge. If people ask you if you work out, you say, yeah, I work out 7 days a week. Living. It's called living. That's what working out is. So it wasn't just the move. It wasn't just the graduation. There's a couple reasons that I haven't been on in a few weeks. And another, something that I've talked to you guys, I mean, on countless of these, and each one that comes along, you're happy and not happy at the same time, and that's a wedding. Yes, you're happy for the couple. You're just not necessarily happy you have to go to yet another one because it becomes so mechanical. All right, then we do this, and then we stand, and then we clap, and then there's this speech, here's a fake laugh. And now, as I've told you many times, with all the cameras rolling, you can't even just be in the back like, oh my God. You have to really have fake happy faces if you're in the background of these things. And when I was at a wedding, by the way, this is when Game 7 of that Avalanche series, that's the team that I needed to win. It was on. So I'm checking my phone left and right. And you want to know who I see approaching me? You know these people at weddings? The dance floor wranglers. Somebody who, it's not enough for them to go up there and dance. They want to go up there and dance? Absolutely. You want to drag your husband up there? I know he doesn't have a say in it. He's going up there. Absolutely. But then what do they do? It's not enough for them. It's like they don't like that you're not out there, so they wrangle you up. Dance floor wranglers. They seek you out. The people. It's almost like they know. They have a detector who knows who doesn't want to dance, and they isolate you and pull you out there, and then you got to do those fake dances. So if I can give some advice to those of you who haven't been flooded with weddings yet, save your bathroom visits for when you see that wrangler, when you see that person who looks so excited to go up on that dance floor. They're going to get one dance in with their partner, and then they're looking around to wrangle. So save your bathroom visits. I go to the bathroom once every 3 days, honestly, in real life. I don't have an overactive bladder. I never go to the bathroom. Go check my bathroom visits. There's 14 visits to the bathroom. Oh, I have a condition, runs in my family. I'm going out there every other minute. But if you are on a regular bathroom schedule, save your bathroom visits. One of your key 3 for when you see that dance floor wrangler heading out into the dance floor. And don't say, oh my God, yeah, I'll go out there for a slow dance. I'm not going out there doing Cotton Eye Joe. I'm sorry, I can't. It's just not physically in me. Some people can be doofy, and who can I can't. My mind, it moves too quickly to allow myself to say, yeah, and I got on the stage and I did the Cotton Eye Joe. And followed by the electric slide. I'd feel like a doofus who spills a drink on my jacket to catch a meaningless fly ball. They haven't thought things through. Haven't you guys got some great fun here? You know, this company, it was funny. They reached out to me. I probably wouldn't have even done it had they said yes. They're like, hey, we were looking for podcasts to bring on board. They didn't even know that I did one. They're like, if you have any that you suggest, I said, you can listen to mine if you want. I don't think they were thrilled about bringing it on board to their network of podcasts. So, you know what? They might not want me, but I know all you guys do. Thank you so much for coming back for another episode of the show. Always happy to have you. I will tell you, once June rolls around and the Stanley Cup is essentially over, I have way more time on my hands. You will be getting the podcast more regularly. You will be getting the bigger studio, and we will be getting more content with higher regularity, because the last couple of months, basically since the fall straight through now, I've been swamped. Not to make excuses, but if I didn't want to do this, I would have just stopped completely. But you will be getting the podcast with a higher frequency in the months to come, so I look forward to delivering that for you. I'm sure I'll have plenty to get to. Make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast, because you never know if one's going to be on when. Like, when is this one? Is this one going to come out over the weekend? I never release them on weekends, but that's why you should definitely subscribe. And this is not a scam to get you to subscribe. But as you see, it varies. It varies. I have one friend, he said he lets them build up, and then when he goes on a long drive, he rips 4 or 5 of them. But the beautiful thing, this is a potpourri podcast, and you can get away with doing just that. All right, everyone, I will be back with you next time. Enjoy whatever the hell it is you're doing this week, this weekend, next week, whenever you're listening to this, 2028, who knows? I will be back with you guys next week. Take it easy.